Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and Forged Irish Stout. We're here at Steele City Gym. Chantelle Cameron. Chantelle, it's been, I think it must be a little over a month or so, maybe more now, since you've joined this gym. You seem really at home here. I've only had a brief sort of watch of yours and Sonny's session today, but you seem really at home. How have you found it?
Yeah, it's been quite a quick turnaround. I think I've been here about maybe a couple of months, so plenty of time to get my feet under the carpet and gel with Grant and change my style a bit as well. I've learnt so much since I've been here, so I've had to take in so much information, so it's been perfect timing really that my camp's really just started, because I've had to take a lot of new information on board, different training regime, and it's all exciting because it's so new and so fresh, and it's kind of what I needed as well, kind of freshen up.
I was going to say, when you made the transition over, I think it caught people off guard because obviously you had such a lot of success with your old trainers, Jamie, etc. But all fighters, professionals know when maybe something's itching to maybe try something and to get that freshness, just to try something new. And you don't want to be kicking yourself in years to come going, we should have tried it. And how refreshing has it been for you sort of learning new things at this stage of your career where you've had multiple world titles and you're still wanting to achieve? How refreshing is that just to have that?
Do you know what? It feels like a complete reset burn. And before my loss as well, it was kind of in my mind, it was people like my family and people around me were kind of saying like, maybe you need something new, Chantelle, like, are you a bit complacent? I wasn't as motivated. Didn't kind of have that same hunger, because Manchester's a long way from Northampton as well. Yes. I've been doing it for years now, and it was starting to drag a bit, and I was getting a bit miserable. My dad wasn't well in my last camp, and reality was hitting home that, bloody hell, like, I've been doing this for a long time. So the plan was to be closer to home, but Grant was actually, it just made sense, and it's 2 hours away, which is an hour less than Manchester, and Grant's such an amazing trainer anyway, so it was kind of like, I'm closer to home, it's just straight down the M1, and I needed something fresh, and I knew it, and it was a really hard decision, it was a really tough choice, and obviously it didn't look great because I had the loss, and then I changed train up, but people that know, it was behind the scenes, it was kind of like, even if I won the fight, I still was going to make an adjustment, because I knew that I needed it in my career. I needed a reset, and I just needed fresh eyes, and I needed to keep learning, because maybe I was just getting complacent and going through the motions and not really pushing myself as much as I should be, whereas now I'm up here in Steele City with Grant. I've got amazing fighters around me now, and in Jamie's as well, I had amazing fighters, but this is like completely different, fans of them as well. So when you're training with people that you can sit at home and watch day in, day out, training with them is even better, sparring with them, like, you're learning constantly. And now I'm in the gym, and I'm doing like double the work. So I come in could be about 10 and not leave until 12, 1. So it's just putting a lot more work in, and maybe that's the loss as well. It's made me hungrier, made me a bit more like, bloody hell, I've lost. It happens, like, I can be beat, so I've got to work harder now. And I said it before, a loss is a lesson. Obviously, when I did suffer my first loss, it did hurt, but now I think, do you know what? I needed that kick up the arse, because now I'm in the gym a lot more, I'm working harder than ever, and I felt defeat, and it doesn't feel nice, and I don't want it to happen again, so I'm not unbeatable. I've been beat, so...
Also, I think in boxing, I think what we're sort of coming into this new era now for, and I think it's always happened on the female side of it, but especially the men's, where this elusive, we've got an O on our records. All the great fighters of the past, apart from very few, your Floyd Mayweathers, Joe Calzaghe's, Rocky Marciano's, a lot of them take losses, and you've only lost on the highest level, and it doesn't really get much higher than that when you look at it. So for you to sort of strip yourself down and say, you know what, I'm going to make a change off the back of that, must have been quite daunting maybe at the start, but it seems to have worked out.
Do you know, it was a really hard decision, because even when I was thinking about it, I was thinking, how could I do that? Because I wanted to be loyal to Jamie and Nigel, but at the same time I did have people in my ear, and it was like, there's being loyal, but this is also your career. Do you want regrets? And it's true, like, I didn't want regrets. I didn't want to hang my gloves up and thinking, what if? And I think as soon as you start losing that, like, hunger and spark and kind of wanting to be in the gym, then you should walk away from boxing. So for me, I had to make the change.
You're back out on this Magnificent Seven show coming up in Birmingham. Quite close to home for you, is that?
Yeah, it's literally down the road, about an hour away, so I'm absolutely buzzing because boxing back in the UK, can even stay at my house if I wanted to, and just jump down the M1, so I'm delighted, and people can come watch me, and not far for them to travel, and they can go home as well, so they ain't got to make flights, book hotels, anything like that, so I am delighted.
Obviously with a new trainer, a new promotional team as well, Frank Warren was over the moon to get you on board, and there's such a big future now, especially in boxing, when we're seeing everybody working together, so it opens doors there. With the changes you've made and the things you've learnt here, what type of Chantelle Cameron do you think we can expect in Birmingham?
I think I'm going to be different. I think I've got the mindset now where my biggest fear in boxing was losing, and that generally was my biggest fear. I don't think, I've never been scared of being hurt. I know that sometimes I take a punch to throw a punch. I've never had that kind of fear. I've never been gun shy. I've always been know that I've got the fitness to get stuck in. So when I fight, the only thing I worry about is losing, and I've lost now, so what have I got to worry about? So I'm going to go out there and ready to let some frustration out, and I've got nothing to fear anymore because I've took that L, and now I'm just ready to take heads off.
You say take heads off, and obviously you lost an L, but you handed the L. You were the one handing the L out in the previous fight. So I suppose in a way it's worked both ways. Everyone always talks about them fights. They were historical nights, both of them. I was at the second one, not the first, but the atmospheres, everything. I actually remember interviewing you at the launch press conference, and way before that, it might have been before Abu Dhabi, and you were saying something. I think you said something along the lines of, "I don't know how Katie does it walking up to all them people. I think I'd shit myself." I think is what you said. But you know what? You did it twice, and it must be after and not looking past your next opponent. That must be your aspiration there to look. We need to run that back, or we need to run that back with somebody else. So we need them big fights, your Serranos, all them types. I think I can't remember if we've spoke before about Serrano. You'd have loved to share the ring with her as well.
Yeah, she's an absolute legend, a tremendous fighter, and I've got a lot of respect for her. But like I said, I'm on a mission to get them belts back. So whoever gets them belts, I'm coming for. But again, I'm not looking past July the 20th because I've got a tough opponent, and I've got a lot to prove. I'm not going in there thinking, oh, I've been undisputed world champion, I'm better than this, blah, blah. That's not my mentality. My mentality is to go in there, put on an absolute performance to show everyone the improvements I've made, how serious I'm taking boxing, and the changes I made were good changes. It was a positive change for a good reason, and this is the reason. So I feel like it's not pressure. I feel like my mission is to show everyone that I've done the right thing for me, and that's all that matters. And I'm going in there to make everyone in that division aware that I'm coming for them. Whoever wins, I'm coming for them belts. I think they belong to me. They're my belts. I lost them, but I'm coming for them.
Obviously a good mentality to have moving forward. You've achieved a lot in boxing, like a hell of a lot, for the very best as well, and there's still other fighters that you need to share the ring with as well. Do you look at what sort of the end goal is? Obviously, there's no ceiling in boxing. You can keep going and going, but what's the next sort of goal? Just to get any form of world title back, to say, look, I'm back now, world champion again. July
the 20th, put on an absolute masterclass, show everyone I'm coming with bad intentions, and make everyone realise that that loss was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Do you have any thoughts on the Taylor-Serrano fight that's going on the Mike Tyson undercard? I didn't expect it to land there, but it has done. How do you see that fight going?
It's going to be another great fight. I think I was saying Amanda Serrano for the win. I'm still edging towards Amanda Serrano, but it is at 140. I think I was quite surprised it was at 140. I think Amanda Serrano, she's coming up a fair few weights, but I think she'll still carry the power. And she's an amazing fighter. You can't, just because it's at 140, you can't take away she's an incredible fighter. 100%. But again, Katie's kind of got that advantage, and so the 2-minute rounds again, where I think if it was 3-minute rounds, definitely would have been an Amanda win. I think it's an interesting fight, really, because of the weight jump that Amanda Serrano's doing, but I can see an Amanda win.
Do you want 2-minute rounds or do you want 3? I ask a lot of people this, and I think a lot of it's like, well, if you're going to pay us for 3 minutes and all this kind of stuff, but in terms of forgetting money aside, do you think you would be better with 3 minutes?
3-minute rounds would suit me way more because of my work rate and the way I fight. And I think people, I get why people are saying, like, oh, if we do 3-minute rounds, we should be paid more. But at the same time, if you think about the future of women's boxing, we should be the ones that are doing 3-minute rounds. Mm-hmm. So in the future, the young ones coming up, they can get paid more. Like, we can't kind of say we want more for doing 3-minute rounds, because we're still setting the path for women's boxing. So I stand with Amanda on we should be doing 3-minute rounds for the next generation. Yeah. And then they'll get paid more money, and good on them. And we've set the path for them and made it easier. Like Jane Clark's done for us. She went against the board. She fought for women's boxing to be in the UK, and she succeeded. And now look at all of us women. But again, us women now should be doing the same thing for the next generation. It's kind of like passing the torch over. So I'm all for 3-minute rounds.
Okay, right. Have you got a message for your fans, the ones who stuck with you through the bad times as well as the good times? You got a message for these, and we head to Birmingham soon. Yeah, so thank you to all my sponsors who have stuck by me. Obviously, it's meant the world to me, because they've kept me training in Sheffield and training full time again, where a lot of them could have jumped ship and thought, she's a loser now, she's got no belts. Sack her off. It would have been very harsh, yeah, like after that fight, like, oh, you've lost, like, close fight as well. But thanks so much to my supporters and all the people that are still supporting me, still believing in me, and backing me to become world champion again. And Grant Smith obviously taking me on in his stable, and also on the same mission as me, as to get my belts back. Frank Warren, Queensbury, signing me again, going to push me to get my belts back, and I hope people can make it down to Birmingham. Yeah. Well, look, we're looking forward to seeing you get back in the ring and do your thing, and hopefully there's some huge fights on the horizon for you. Chantelle Cameron, appreciate your time. Thanks for talking to Boxing Social. Hopefully we'll see you down in Birmingham. Thank you.